Good day. Just done some harvesting of those broad beans, and looking at these other beans, they're doing pretty well, beginning to climb. And these are the rock and core, which are looking good. Down here we've got Venice, and only one or two have come up, which is a bit of a shame. But we've been away for a few days to Guernsey, and it's been very hot whilst we've been away, but also when we got back yesterday there was also plenty of rain. So everything that is growing pretty well, including some of the weeds. If we come over here, the courgettes are yellow courgettes. Plenty of flowers coming on those. Whether they'll get pollinated and form, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, plenty coming. Fingers crossed. And then over here, the cucumbers have started going for it as well. Well, beginning to go for it. We've got some oh, I always forget what it is. It's that seed. Oh, this is Good King Henry, isn't it? Oh, and that's related to it, but it's what we grew a few years ago, and it just gets everywhere. It's beautiful, but I don't really want it in because it seeds so much. Yeah, and then if we come up here, yeah, I think the tomatoes have grown a little bit, but really sort of not hugely, though hopefully we'll be getting those in the ground in the coming day or so. Let me show you something that's a little bit disappointing. You may remember me sowing these borlotti about 10 days ago, and I'd soaked the seed hoping that that would speed up germination, because I wanted these for our gate sale, which is this coming Saturday. But not a single bit of germination that we can see above ground. And in fact, not a single bit of ground heave to say that seeds are coming up. What about there? No, because usually when bean seeds are germinating below ground, because they push up, you get ground heave, so the ground sort of heaves up and it sort of cracks a bit and has a little bit of a sort of mound, and you can see a crack in the soil, or in the compost in this case, but certainly none whatsoever. So we definitely won't be selling these at the gate sale this coming Saturday. In fact, I don't have a huge amount to sell, or I won't be offering up too much because I don't have a lot available to sell. Yeah, but these are disappointing. We sowed these for us and these for the gate sale. And even as I was looking at the beans, the Venice beans that hadn't germinated, I was thinking, oh, maybe we've got some in the poly, the borlotti, which can replace these. But actually, no, we have none. Whether they will germinate or not, I think we'll know by the end of this week. But considering how swiftly beans can germinate, this must be 10 days on, and to have nothing now is a bit disappointing, particularly when we soak the seed in advance. What's not disappointing is these cinnabar caterpillars. I mean, they're just magical, aren't they? This is the only plant I think that they like. Down here as well. Oh yeah, look. Lovely. I think it's fair to say that neither Richard nor I are going to get fat on this harvest from a single potato plant. It's certainly not the best harvest I've ever had, but it's also certainly not the worst harvest I ever had, which was, I think, about 10 years ago. And I was growing some potatoes in proper potato sacks, potato bags, you know, for growing potatoes, and nurtured them and did everything, you know, that one does, and fed them and did all of that. Not a single potato harvested. So yeah, not delighted, but not totally disappointed either. This is food, so you know, that's good. And let me put those down. We have been away for a few days, so it's really interesting to come back to the growing space, to our allotment, after 3-4 days away, because so much has changed. You know, the broad beans, which were looking really great when we left, they're looking much the worse for wear. But I have got half a trug full that I've harvested from those. I reckon there's another quarter of a trug to harvest. And looking at the plant that I kept for saving seed from, I definitely picked the right plant, because it's still full of really good solid pods. So that's the one that's netted off, and I'm just going to let that grow on, and the pods will dry on the plant, and I will harvest those and then do the Coanga Institute method of when they are absolutely bone dry. I'll put the seeds, so the seeds that we've taken out of the pods, I'll put those into the freezer for 3 days. That will kill any creatures that are in it potentially, and then I will be able to take those out of the freezer, put them in a glass jar in the fridge, and then they will keep for sowing for next year. When next year's sowing for us will be, I do not know. I mean, it depends when the house sells. You know, it's a really odd market at the moment. You know, interest rates are going up. The housing market is pretty dead. So we'll just have to see what we do. We've had plenty of people coming around and looking at the house, but we're still waiting for an offer to come through. So yeah, so will we be sowing in the autumn here for potentially harvesting in the spring? I didn't think 2 weeks ago I would be saying that, but it's sort of at the back of my mind now. It really is. Time will tell. Time will tell. And if I do that, if that does happen, will I sow the seeds that I'm saving from that plant? Most probably not, because I know that this broad bean harvest that we've had, and the broad beans, how they have grown, has been really good. Therefore, I want to keep that stock of beans for when I know we've got a full growing season ahead of us. So if we are going to be sowing in the autumn here, in the early winter potentially, then I think it's going to be with beans that we buy to sow. So yes, we went to Guernsey and we had a lovely few days, and some friends put us up in their accommodation, which was absolutely lovely. And we saw Mum, which was delightful, and we'll talk about that on Sunday Chat. If you follow us on Facebook, you'll know that were various issues with us getting back from Guernsey because our flight was cancelled. So we got back later than we intended, so we didn't do Sunday Chat yesterday. But you know, that's fine. We got back safely, which was all good. And the friends that we did stay with, I took a couple of things over for them. I was going to take some broad beans, but I thought, no, I'm sure they must grow broad beans, so I didn't take any, and I'm glad I didn't, because they had a whole load of broad beans that they had harvested themselves. Guernsey has an earlier climate than London, so theirs has been harvested sort of a week ago, let's say. So yeah, Guernsey is a little ahead of here. So I'm glad I didn't take broad beans, but I did take one of the cuttings of the lovely rambling pink rose that we used to have in the laurel at the side of our house, that was cut down to the ground when our neighbours put in their new lovely plastic grass on their area. So that laurel had to come down, and the rambling rose was going through it, so the rambling rose had to come down, and I took cuttings, as you know, some of which Vivi has, some of which were planted around this site, and now one is in Guernsey, which is absolutely lovely. And in exchange, I have been given blackcurrant cuttings that they had done last year, I think. So we brought 2 of these back on the plane, and also some pepper seedlings. And they said to me, would you like to take back some pepper seedlings? And I went, oh yeah, that would be great. And I thought, what am I going to put them in that is going to be safe to transport without them getting bashed about? So I have this little jar. I need to take a liquid at night, and I took it in this jar because, you know, you can only take 100 millilitres of liquid along with you. So my medication was in this jar. I used up all the medication whilst we were away, obviously. So I decided that as their peppers were in the small initial Charles Dowding modules, I put 3 into here, and then I would pot them up when I got to the plot. And I have to say, I think my way of transporting them has actually done them proud, because yeah, they're all in there. There's six in there, and they're all quite happy. So after we finish filming, I'm going to be pricking these out from my medicine jar and potting them up into individual pots. So these are from saved seeds from a Waitrose pepper that they had, and they saved seeds from them, sowed all the seeds, and they had many peppers. So yeah, so thank you very much to our hosts for these. And what will the rest of the week bring? Well, I think I will be down here a little bit tomorrow. I'll be down here most days to harvest, at least once or twice a day. As I said last week, we're having lettuce virtually every meal at the moment. Not breakfast, but most other meals. And I think what might be an idea, if I can find some decent plastic bags, I might do some harvests throughout our gate sale day, just like I've done this morning, and take maybe 12 leaves off, put them into a bag, and then we can sell them for, I don't know, 50p at the gate sale. So that will reduce the you know, that will mean I increase the harvesting of these plants in front of me, and hopefully then sort of extend their longevity as well, because at the moment with so much leaf on there, they'll be thinking about sort of going to seed, where I find when I carry on picking things, it tends to slow down the going to seed process. Whether that's my imagination or not, I don't know, but that's sort of what I feel like. So that's it. I do want to get the tomatoes in. As I said, they are going to be going in the next day or so. Very late for me. I mean, you know, the end of June, we're almost hitting, well, 3/4 of the way through June at least. Well, no, we're not, are we? We're almost 3/4 of the way through June. It's Midsummer's Day tomorrow, you know, and my tomatoes aren't actually in the ground yet, but they'll get in the ground, and it looks as though we're going to be moving a bit later than we had hoped. So hopefully we will be able to get those tomatoes harvested. Fingers crossed. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for this segment of A Week at the Plot, this first segment of A Week at the Plot, and I'll either see you tomorrow or I'll see you on Thursday. See you very soon though. Bye. Good day. The time has come to get some tomatoes in, and they're going to be going down this section here. And the first thing I'm going to do is put a line down, or put 2 lines down, because I'll plant along the line. So that's what I'm going to do initially. And I mean, these are the ones that we don't know what they are. These are Guernsey Island here, and these are black crim over here. So I think, well, we're just going to get them in. Yeah. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there's 20 there. So yeah, I think we'll be able to get them. Well, maybe not all of them. Let me get my line down and then I can space them out. I've got 18 in there. I've just noticed one of the Guernsey Islands has got a flower on it. This one just here. So yeah, 18. They're about 15 inches apart either way. I've zigzagged them, as you can see, because that gives you additional space in doing that, rather than just lining them in lines like that. And I'm going to get these in now, and I'm going to plant them sort of on the string. So I won't be planting them this side of the string. I'm going to move the string this way and plant here, so that the growth is sort of on the string. Yeah, this feels rather bizarre. This is the latest I think I've ever planted out tomatoes. Does feel rather bizarre. Anyway, get on and do it, Paul. They've all been given a good water now, and in about half an hour I'll give them another drenching. I've just been given this melon by a fellow plot holder, and I know they like heat, so I'm going to put it into the polytunnel. I know we've got space in there. That's the melon in there, and then in here I've put one of the gherkins we were given a couple of weeks ago, and over there is the other gherkin. Coriander's doing well, mostly, yeah, starting to go to seed. Talking about things going to seed, these pods, let's go up here, it's easier to see. These are really beginning to dry now. I'll be harvesting those quite soon. Some are green still and some are brown, but that's fine. I can take them off bit by bit. Yeah, because I don't want them to start popping and opening. Is that a ladybird larvae there? On its way to being a ladybird. Our garlic, drying fine. These are the peppers that I pricked out from our terranium, pepper terranium, as was it Michelle said, I think. Thought that was quite a good description of how they came back from Guernsey. They're doing fine, and absolutely no change, no germination with these borlotti. No, I thought that might have been ground heave. Yeah, I don't think they're going to germinate now. Hey ho, hey ho. It really is rather warm now. You can most probably see I am perspiring a little bit. And what do they say? Mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. And even though I may not be an Englishman, yeah, I've been out in the midday sun. It's 1 o'clock now. I've got those tomatoes in. Another day we will build the frame for those. But the good thing is, by getting those in, they can start acclimatizing in that bed, and also they can start being buffeted by any breezes or winds that we have before being strung up to the frame. As you may remember, I don't do like other people, i.e. putting a bamboo and then tying the tomato to the bamboo. I build a frame of bamboo and then I put string around the tomato and hoik it up to the frame. So we'll have a look at that in, I think, a week or so. There's no rush to do it at the moment. I'm glad to have been given that melon. Isn't that fabulous? That's absolutely lovely. Got those gherkins in. I've had a bit of a bung it in the carrot and lettuce bed because we had 3 more cucumbers that were going spare. And you know what? With the prices and interest rates going up and things like that, I decided to get those into the carrot bed and the lettuce bed where there's room, and then those 3 can ramble in there. So they've been put in there and given a really good water. And the beans, which are doing really well, have been given a really good water as well. So I've checked everything for water. Things that have needed watering, I have watered. And I'm going to leave it there for today. There's quite a bit of tidying to do. I'm going to be doing some strimming. So if I get onto that tomorrow, oh my voice, if I get onto that tomorrow, I most probably won't do that on camera. I'll just show you what it looks like afterwards. But what else are we going to be? Look, there's tidying to do, and also looking at the broad beans. I'm going to tell you about the broad beans another day. Tell you about that another day. See you very soon. Bye. Good day. This is my, dare I say, haul from our gate sale yesterday. Much of these were sort of end of day purchases, or in fact right at the beginning of day with the gazanias. And this, I'm not sure if you can see very clearly, but it's the palest lavender. It's called Q Red, and it was propagated by one of our plot neighbours here. So that was a early morning purchase, as was these gazanias. But everything else is a sort of end of day purchase. And I've got some squash because, as you know, we've not sown any squash because I was expecting to be moving. More squash at the back there, more squash here. In fact, mainly squash, to be frank. Yeah, it's mainly squash. And then this is the what's it called, Lychnis, that's it, which is the lovely silver green leaf with the pink flowers, which I did have some, and we not many of them propagated very well, so I thought I would take this at end of day as well, or not take this but buy this. But yeah, these gazanias I'm going to put at the in the troughs by the mouth of the polytunnel, by the door of the polytunnel. And the squash, I think, are all going to go into the bed over there. So I will be getting on with that today. Still got tidying up of things to put away that we used at the gate sale. Oh look, the oregano stroke marjoram is flowering. Lovely. Not sure if you can see that clearly in the sun. What I'm also pleased about is if we come over here, look, I can start harvesting courgettes. Look at that. Excellent, excellent. I need to do a lot of weeding and a lot of tidying, But the first thing that I'm going to do is get those gazanias in and the squash in, because the weeding can wait. In fact, the weeding will have to wait till after watering if I'm going to do any of it today. So that's the squash in, and I have to say this is the bed that had the perennial weed bin put on top, the one that had decomposed for about 18 months, and you can see the surface is quite rough, but underneath the surface the compost is really fantastic. So what I've done is I put these in, and I've put the sort of rough bits back on top to act as a mulch, because underneath this top layer, which is about an inch of rough stuff, the compost is pretty moist. There's some big bits there, look, that haven't broken down at all, or hardly at all. So yeah, we'll see how these squash do. And it's been a bit of a bung it in session as well. I noticed that there was some aubergine, so I put 4 aubergine in here, so that's from the gate sale. So I've put 4 in there, and then if we come over here, look at the mullein, how the mullein is beginning to open. Gorgeous. Oh, look at the chicory over there. Us and our plot holders do love chicory. There's my hat in the grass, as I didn't need it on because I was working in this area, bunging more stuff in. So there's 6 tomatoes in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 here. I was going to put 1 here, but if we come in, can you see that one? Another volunteer tomato. That's not one, no, but another volunteer tomato there. So we've got 7 tomatoes in here, and yeah, I'm sort of going through and clearing benches. Look at that chicory, just gorgeous. Yeah, going through and clearing benches and making notes in my head. I'm also doing some tidying as I go. Got my plastic bag there of stuff that is going to go into either recycling, our green waste, or our rubbish. So yeah, what I'm hoping is that I can get stuff in this next week and then just start the weeding jobs, because it really does need to be done. Anyway, there we are. Here are the gazanias on either side of a primrose. So they're sort of going to be happy there. There's the other one, or the other 2 gazanias. Yeah, and they'll get full sun in the afternoon for a good sort of 8 hours at the moment. So that's quite a lot done this morning, and I'm happy that I've got it done this morning. I think I got here about 8, it's now about 11. I've spent some time chatting to other tenants as well, so that has been lovely. There is a fantastic breeze at the moment, and it's really lovely and cooling. However, it is hot out there. It really is hot. I think it's going to be about 30 degrees in our area today. So I'm glad I've got this done at the cooler part of the day. I definitely wanted to get those squash in. I hadn't intended to get the other tomatoes in. I hadn't intended to buy 4 aubergine to put in, but you know, I've given everything a really good water. I've given the cucumbers and the courgettes a really good feed. So yeah, I feel as though I've done quite a bit. And of course I put the gazanias in front here. They'll be lovely, absolutely lovely. They're one of those plants that really remind me of Guernsey, because they grow so well on Guernsey. Hottentot fig, the mesembryanthemums and the gazanias. Yeah, they are things that remind me of Guernsey. They really do. I've got my tea. When it's at that lovely temperature in this weather where it's it's refreshing but still warm, if you see what I mean. So it's absolutely lovely. And I've started tidying as well today with that black bag. So yeah, there we are. Our gate sale yesterday was a really good success. It really was. We raised around 500 quid, we think. There's still some money being paid into the account so that the tenants who have bought things can pay directly into our bank account. So that's happening at the moment. So by the end of this week, I think we'll know how much we have made on the gate sale. And to be honest, I thought we'd do 150, 200 quid, something like that. But we obviously publicised it well. We did it on the same day as the Fox has its artisan market. And we had people queuing at the gate at 11 o'clock wanting to come in. So yeah, we did really well. And you know, it's lovely to do the Hanwell Carnival, but it is quite a stress. You know, we've got to take all the plants in vehicles to Elthorne Park where the carnival happens. Then we've got to put everything up there. We sell throughout the day. Then we've got to dismantle things. You can only leave the site after about 5 o'clock. And then everything has to come back, it gets put away, and any plants that are left over get put by the communal shed. This year, we asked people to drop plants off at the communal shed, as normally happens. We put a gazebo up, we put some, what are they? Trestles up, moved tables along, put all the plants on it, sold. And by 3 o'clock we closed and we took everything down and it was sort of all done. You know, so much less stressful. No fossil fuels used by anyone on the site here to, you know, in order to sell the plants, because they had to go into cars to go to the Hanwell Carnival. So yeah, it's much easier, and it was a much less tiring day and a lot less stress. It was still tiring, but a lot less stress, I have to say. Yeah, so, and we made less money, but there wasn't a fee, because we normally have to pay a fee for the stall at the Hanwell Carnival. So we didn't, you know, have to worry about the fee. So I think it's something that we'll do each year. Who knows, maybe we'll still be here next year. And maybe if we're not here next year, maybe we'll come back for the gate sale. Anyway, I'm going to finish my tea, do a bit more watering, and then get home whilst the temperature is still in the sort of mid 20s rather than late 20s, early 30s. If you've got any comments or questions, please do leave them down. Oh, and I also got these 2 spider plants here. Haven't told Richard about those yet. No. Oh, I know exactly where they're going to go. Yes, any comments, any questions, please do leave them down below. And I will see you again next week for further segments of A Week at the Plot on Planet Vegetaria, or I'll see you on YouTube for the full upload. I think next week is going to be a bit more bunging in, lots of watering, tidying and strimming. Oh, and I need to harvest some potatoes today as well, so I'm going to get on and do that. Whatever you're doing, I hope it is going well in your own growing spaces and gardens, and I hope if you're in the southern hemisphere, your harvests are doing really well, and in fact if you're in the northern hemisphere where we are, I hope your harvests are doing really well as well, and your sowings and your pricking out and your potting on and all of that. Happy growing. Bye.